was decent. Hello. Hello. Sup, guys? You want to make a show? What's our main character's name?
Oh, that's so sick. His name is Juan.
Juan. Okay, what does he want?
He
What is his goal?
his goal is to be a famous poetry writer.
Ooh, poetry writer. Okay. So in order to gain that, what does he goes somewhere that he's never been before. What is that? What kind of adventures does he go on?
He goes to the moon.
He goes to the moon to become a famous poetry writer.
Right.
What about the moon is going to make him a better poetry writer? Maybe this is in the future where there's a civilization up there and there's a really good writer boot camp up on the moon. Or anything. That's just me. Anything else you can think of?
Maybe you are like an intergalactic species, and we're everywhere in the galaxy right now. And like the moon is like a big spaceport, and this guy is a poetry writer on like a interstellar train station or something.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
Like a street performer or something.
He works. Yeah. He's not a poetry writer yet. He's a street
He's
performer on an intergalactic train. Are you just talking about Rick and Morty right now? That last episode was very train based.
Yeah, right, man. We just saw it.
No, he's a poet who's gonna join the Poetry World Cup on the moon.
Okay. Yeah. Poetry World Cup on the moon. I like this creativity here. All right. So, but he's on an intergalactic train that's not on the moon, so he's got to get to the moon.
No, he's like on the train station of the moon, like performing in the station for people in the public.
Before, because he has to go to the moon to get the thing he wants. So he has to start somewhere where it's normal for him.
On the space train.
On the space train.
That just flies through space to different planets, I guess.
To the moon.
Well, the moon is definitely one of them, but like lots of places too.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's just he's not. I guess he's not a street. Yeah, he's a performer of some sort.
Or maybe he's like an intergalactic traveling poetry performer.
Well, but then doesn't he already have the thing he wants?
Yeah, no.
He's like
he's
on his way to being on that level.
He's a bastard.
He's a bastard. Put that in there. Bastard.
Juan the bastard.
Okay, so he's on a galactic train. So does he? I assume he gets on a galactic train to go to the moon.
And he has a rifle.
So he was. Let's say, yeah, he has a rifle. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
hey,
a poet rifle.
A street performer on outside on an intergalactic train platform. Okay, so then he gets on the train. Let's say he sneaks on the train because he doesn't really have money.
It's like Titanic on the space.
Yeah, dude, we're onto something because Titanic's a pretty big movie. So we gotta get him to be drawn naked at some point halfway through.
Yeah, it has to happen.
It has to. Oh, I forgot to mention he has a rifle. Okay, sneaks on the train, and that's what gets him on the trip. So what's weird about the train? Like to get to the moon, he has to overcome and adapt to some sort of weirdness.
Some kind of guy follows him around and
No, it's only rich people. A rich train.
Oh, okay. Train is full of rich. I'm not first. All right. And so like they're all talking down to him, or like what kind of adaptation does he go through in order to fit in?
He gets a suit and he starts performing in like this lounge cabin where everyone sits at tables and you have this kind of little podium stage somewhere.
He fakes being rich.
Okay, so yeah, he starts reciting his poetry.
Yeah, and he fakes being rich.
Right. That's why
Oh, he writes a poem about being rich, and they believe him. They're like, "Oh man, he's really speaking from the heart." Oh man, about being rich, even though he isn't. Man, we're onto something. This is the best one yet. All right, he starts reciting poetry, even being rich.
Maybe like this needs to be the plot. Like he pretends like he's this rich guy all the way, and then then like the people close to him get to know that he wasn't rich to start.
That's the plot twist.
Right. Well, because he adapts, and then I guess maybe the train arrives at the moon, and
So
like,
what if in the end they found out he's a bastard, but he finds out he's royal blood? That's a plot twist.
Oh, okay. We can get back to that. Oh, well, we're halfway. So he adapts, and he's pretending to be a rich person. So then he goes to the moon, and he joins the, what was it? What? There's a Poetry World Cup. Okay, yeah. Goes to Poetry World Cup, and he's accepted because he's rich. Like, if he wasn't rich, they probably wouldn't have accepted him.
Yeah,
Accepted
he's like
because
he isn't really rich,
fake
but
rich. Right. He's
it's
just
like tax fraud.
he's wearing the disguise of being rich.
right.
Okay. So then he joins. So he does it. That was the thing he wanted. Oh wait. How does he become famous when he does it?
By winning it.
Okay. Wins the cup. So by winning the cup, something bad happens. He has to pay a price for achieving the thing he wants.
Like he gets an interview with someone, and he accidentally spills to him that he started off poor, and all the people he went to first, like all the rich people, see that, and they start like this boycott on him or something.
Yeah, like an interview, he ends up slipping, and they're like, "Wait a minute, you're not rich. You were faking it the whole time." Oh man.
Right.
And reveals he's been faking. Oh shit. Everyone hates him.
Right.
So that's the price he pays. So then he goes back to where he was. Let's say he was on Mars the whole time at the beginning. And then he gets on the train.
Right.
He goes back to where he was, Mars. And then we have to reveal. How does it reveal that he's a rich guy? Or maybe he doesn't go back. I don't know. What are you guys thinking?
Maybe like the rich people, like they have contacts, and they are like, when they heard he wasn't rich, they started searching through his files, and then they found out he was like this son of like one of the royal friends they had first, but he deceased, and then his son went to a how do you call it, like a foster home or something, and that's where he started, like where the whole story started.
Okay. So let me say if you like this or not. Let me switch up what you're saying. I like the idea of someone seeing him and then seeing the reveal that it was all a lie and then doing research. But I don't think the rich people would be motivated to look into it. They'd be like, fuck that guy. He totally tricked us. The poor people probably saw it on like intergalactic TV and they're like, this guy's like our hero. Let's do some research. And they find out. So when he goes back to Mars, they reveal it to him that he's actually royalty.
And then all the people that are not in that rich club where he first was like him and love him and support him, and he gets like famous and rich off that. And then the rich people are like, fuck, now he's famous and rich.
Wait, what was that? He does what?
We need the juicy ending.
Yeah, I'm kind of searching for that.
Yeah, you're right. Like he figures out that he's rich, and then he can kind of give a big middle finger to the other rich people.
He goes back and buys his way in.
Oh no, maybe. Well, maybe. Yeah, he just buys the whole world, the whole moon.
Yeah, right.
Oh, maybe he's not rich. He just owns the moon.
Yeah.
One of those things. Yeah. Okay.
Add another plot twist.
They see him as a hero and start researching and find out that he's actually either rich or just owns the moon. so he goes back, or so he buys either the poetry cup or the whole. No, he buys the moon. That's what he buys.
He
The moon.
buys the moon.
The moon's better. So he buys the moon, and what is the big middle finger he gives to the rich people after he buys the moon? He's like, "This is mine now, so you do this." He sets up concentration camps and says, "You have this long to get out, or else." I don't know if that's a good idea, but
maybe he goes.
He needs to help the poor people.
yeah, he needs to help.
Maybe like the rich people eventually get hated by all the other people.
Or the rich people kill him.
Oh, kind of based on what's going on now. Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, but he becomes a martyr, and so like all the poor people rise up against the rich people, because it could be commentary on the fact that the rich people are rich because of the poor people that run their gears at the bottom, and once they aren't all fighting for them anymore, they're taken down. Okay, so he okay, wait, but how does him buying the moon? Oh, maybe he like rakes the taxes up on the moon or something.
Yeah,
so like,
right.
Okay, raises taxes on rich moon. Yeah,
Rich moon.
So then they're like poor. It like levels the playing field, and everyone's kind of equal. But the poor people are still fuck you. Okay, well, yeah, and then let's get to hang on. Raises taxes on the moon. Rich people hate him. Poor people love him, and the rich people try to assassinate him.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't type him, and I guess they do, right? Because that's what makes him like a hero in the history books to everybody. Yeah, try to assassinate him and succeed, but make him into a martyr.
And like he has to do something before his death, like something that becomes clear after he dies.
Oh, like he does something in his moment of death that we're like, what is that? And then we find out. Ooh. Does he sell the moon to someone bad, or like does he?
Maybe he sells the moon
and gives the money. Or go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe he sells the moon and then gives the money to the poor people, but that only happens when he dies.
Right. In his last moments,
he
sells the moon. He's like fucking with his phone. Okay. During his last minutes, he's messing with his phone, and then he's killed, and he laughs at the assassin, saying he's fucked. And then in the following scenes, we see all the rich people freaking out. All the rich people freaking out that one, he sold the moon probably to someone that is bad, and then two, that he gave all the money to the poor people.
To the poor people, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. As long as you see all the rich people freaking out because the moon has been sold. Oh, a statue of him. Yeah.
Right.
To a bad person.
On the moon. On the moon.
Yeah. Or like, what if they carve something out of the moon so it's visible from Earth?
Maybe like the one who like he sold the moon to like a guy.
Yeah.
And that guy like got everybody off the moon and then carved the whole moon in the shape of his face.
Yeah. Okay. Sold to a not a bad person, a person that the rich don't like. Yeah, maybe earlier, like at the beginning of the movie or the show or whatever, we put in that there's this guy who hates the rich people, and it's just this guy, and then
his rifle.
He's like the
his rifle.
His rifle.
What becomes his friend. He what?
His rifle becomes his
maybe
friend.
That's his old friend, and he meets him in the foster home, and he's like eventually
they find out they're brothers,
and he eventually like the other guy becomes like the poetry guy, right? And the other guy becomes the resistance to the rich. the leader of the resistance to the rich, and eventually he
okay.
moved to that to like his brother he's not seen in a long time, and then
we saw at the beginning as the leader of the resistance. Yeah, we're on to something here. So his best friend, he gives it to his best friend, who's then in charge of the resistance and the poor people. Freaking out, sold. And all the money has been given to the poor. So the poor are now the rich, and the rich are now the poor. Whew, okay. So then, the thing. Okay, so then, resistance leader clears the moon of rich people and carves his wait, what was our guy's name?
Juan,
you're right. Juan's face into the moon. And then like final shots
Juan Bastardo
are rich people refusing to look into the sky because they hate him. I don't know. I just imagine rich people being like, oh, this fucking statue reminded me that I'm an asshole this whole time. This sucks. But yeah, man, we got something. Is there anything else we got to add to this? Man, I think this is really good.
This is good, man.
We're going to be picked up, no doubt.
Like the poetry has to come back in like every major part.
Oh, you're right. What if
Like,
there's
maybe
like one line of poetry that he throws into everything, and that's like scribbled on the moon? Or what were your ideas?
Like maybe when he dies, he has
He puts his poetry on the moon.
Like you said, like he has this one line he puts in every poetry he makes, and then after his death, like this line is like, what was the plot all the time?
Oh wait, I can't think of an example movie, but there's movies where like certain phrases are like
foreshadowing.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like people saying like V for Vendetta. I feel like people like there was a phrase everyone said where they're like, yeah, we're part of the resistance. So like everybody in the resistance has this phrase that they say to each other, and it's his poem.
The first time we hear it is like when they are in the foster home, and the brother and the poetry guy say to each other like that line. And then in every poetry he makes, he repeats that line.
Right. There's a specific line.
It's the first thing they say to each other and the last thing they say to each other.
Specific line that ends up being.
Or maybe they say like they say it in like binary code or something like that. Like they have like this resistance in binary or something.
Okay. Yeah, like it's like, part of their logo or something.
Yeah, something like that. Like it plays in the kind of in the future, right?
Yeah.
So maybe add something to give that some aspect or something.
In where were they? Where'd you say they were in a orphanage? No, not an orphanage. Oh, foster home. Yeah. This line. Wait. This line is also the last thing he says to him and ends up being the catchphrase for the resistance. And turned into a binary code symbol of some sort.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Whew. This is a doozy. Man, you guys know what you're doing a little bit more than some of these people I'm talking to. I would have figured Omegle was full of TV show writers, but turns out it's not true. You're the only two.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's good.
Man, creative minds.
That's right. That is right. The whole thought here, and it's funny that we bring up Rick and Morty, and you've seen that because like this whole thing we've built is based on Dan Harmon's Story Circle. Like he's my idol, and I'm recording these so that I can prove to someone that like, hey, if I can talk some random people on the internet through a story circle and develop a show, then I can do it with a writer's room. You know, I could.
Yeah, man.
So you guys got to say, hire this guy, hire him.
Yeah, hire this guy.
Hire this guy.
Yes. All right. Good. I'm gonna be hired in a month because of you guys.
Man, you know, I kind of write stories in a way,
Yeah.
but not in like your way. I make music,
Yeah.
but
No, that's all. I love all kind of art.
yeah, man. So maybe that's an idea. Like I don't know what you're like. You do animations for this or something?
You know, I think right now I'm just I don't know if I'll develop these
Oh, just-
actually into a thing. This is actually good, so I might actually throw this down to something. So I don't know. I'm trying a bunch of different things. I think I'll do another run through Omegle where I'll just have people try to develop characters with me, because that's a big part. Like this is stuff that happens, but like we got to add heart to each character and figure out what they're about. I mean, this guy likes poetry, and we've got the connection with his best friend and all that, but it needs a little bit more. So I need to start doing that. And I mean, really, my characters are just going to be organizing the different kinds of thoughts I have. You know, like this is my conspiracy theory guy who doesn't even look at ads on his phone because he's not going to let anyone convince him of anything. And then there's this other, I don't know, this weird spiritual guy, or I don't know, just all these different opinions mixed together.
That's sick, man. You make a story with a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know if you watched Community. Did you ever see Community?
Yeah.
My favorite show. So good. But like the thing that made that so good is it was like creative, but it was like built around real feelings and heart and
Yeah,
know,
man.
you just got
Right.
characters.
So.
So good.